But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is followers. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X.
In a friendly meeting with American influencers after an icy reception at the United Nations, Benjamin Netanyahu made it clear just how important TikTok will be for pushing pro-Israel propaganda. There is more where that came from, but first, Cenk, what is your initial take here?
Told you, that's my initial take. So we've been telling you on the Young Turks, and we've shown you politicians from both sides of the aisle, Democrat and Republican, Mitt Romney included, who said, oh yeah, we're trying to get TikTok, not because we're worried about China, but because we're worried that Israel is not getting enough marketing. So now, if this goes through, TikTok and all the other outlets that he mentioned will be run by basically Israel. And so they'll be useless, they'll be trash. If and when that happens, we'll let you know. And then you should get off of those platforms because a platform with Israeli censors couldn't be more useless. It's just a propaganda outlet at that point.
Now, Bibi's admission came after Deborah Lee, a Fox News commentator, asked him about the potential loss of evangelical and right-wing support for Israel and their right to be concerned. Democrats are more likely than Republicans to express unfavorable opinions of Israel, 69% versus 37%. But Republicans' negative views are steadily ticking upward. That's particularly true of younger Republicans. In the last 3 years, the share of Republicans under 50 years old who have negative views of Israel jumped from 35% to 50%. Netanyahu claimed that money from NGOs and foreign governments, combined with the messaging on social media, was fueling the growing animosity towards Israel, and that they have to fight back. Take a look.
How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. So we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. We have to fight the fight, okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends.
And there's a good reason why Netanyahu is so focused on social media right now, and in particular TikTok. For a while, people like Mitt Romney and other diehard defenders of Israel have complained that there's too much anti-Israel content on the platform. But that might not be a problem for them anymore, since Trump just greenlit a $14 billion deal that gives Oracle billionaire Larry Ellison partial control of TikTok. And he just happens to be the single largest private donor to the IDF. Oracle is reportedly to get 15% and be named the app's security provider. Now, not only will American companies like Oracle have access to TikTok's user data, it will also have control of the algorithms that manage the kind of news, the messaging, and images that all of those users see. Last Thursday, Trump officials confirmed that the agreement gives the new US owners control over the coveted TikTok algorithm. JD Vance said the US company will have control over how the algorithm pushes content to users. We want the business to make decisions on content based on the interests of the business and based on the interests of the users. Also allegedly involved in the deal, along with Ellison, are billionaires Rupert Murdoch and Jeffrey Yass, who both have deep ties to Israel and AIPAC. So it feels like one of the most used social media apps, and an app that has been used for storytelling and showing people around the world what's happening in Gaza, the genocide that is occurring, Cenk, that might be gone. People might have suddenly a blank spot in their algorithm for that type of content. What do you think?
Okay, so I want people to understand what we've seen, and if you haven't seen it, I want to show you the Mitt Romney clip to give you a sense of what's going on. Before we get there, just wanted to comment on the Netanyahu clip you guys just saw. So I watched the longer one, and he says some things on that portion and some things in other portions. He also talked about, there's new weapons of war. You heard him say, we can't use the sword anymore. We cut out a portion where he said, there's drones, but I don't want to talk too much about that. And that's because they're now using those drones, quadcopters, for random assassinations. I saw one online from a reputable source earlier today where they sent a drone by a hospital and it shoots a doctor in the head. Why did they want to murder that doctor? I don't know. Why did they want to murder over 65,000 Palestinians? And why do doctors, American doctors that go to Gaza, talk about, there's an unbelievable number of headshots and chest shots from snipers on children under 5 years old. So yeah, that's his new sword, which is just mass terrorism inside Gaza. So, okay, now you turn to media. Now he says, look, that's also an important tool for us. So we're going to direct all of our Jewish friends in what to say and how to defend Israel. So first off, right there, that's a giant problem. Don't do that, because now Jewish people didn't ask you to do that. You're implicating quote unquote Jewish people with your barbaric actions. That is a disaster for Jewish people. So don't believe him that Jewish people are not getting their orders from stupid Netanyahu. Will some of them listen to him, like Larry Ellison? Of course, because those are pro-Israel zealots who are deeply racist and bigoted, and they hate Palestinians. And so when they see the IDF murdering 20,000 Palestinian children, they're like, yes! And they give a record amount to the IDF, murder more Palestinians. So that's what they're all about, and those are the guys who are going to run TikTok now. But that does not represent all Jewish people at all. Please, please do not believe them when they say such outrageous things that drive up anti-Semitism. Okay, then he says, now we're also going to direct our non-Jewish friends. In other words, the guys we pay in politics and in media, and they'll be equipped with their new propaganda. Before, when you were seeing the unfiltered truth on TikTok, it was a huge problem for them. And Senator Romney was among the politicians who weirdly, I guess they thought they were above the law and there's no big deal, you could just admit the truth now, said this, watch.
Some wonder why there was such overwhelming support for us to shut down potentially TikTok or other entities of that nature. If you look at the postings on TikTok and the number of mentions of Palestinians relative to other social media sites, it's overwhelmingly so among TikTok broadcasts. So I'd note that's of real interest, and the president will get the chance to make action in that regard. Typically, the Israelis are good at PR. What's happened here? How have they and we been so ineffective at communicating the realities there and our point of view?
That was also for a couple of reasons. One, thank you for the confession. Two, that's Romney, a Republican, and Anthony Blinken, of course, the Secretary of State for Joe Biden, a Democrat. Number three, I love how uncomfortable Blinken was. I feel like he was trying to like Morse code with his body. Like, don't tell him we're trying to buy TikTok on behalf of Israel. Don't tell him that. We're pretending it's because of China. Okay. But he did tell us. And so now they are executing that plan. And JD Vance is telling you now, US, Israel will now control the algorithm. And by the way, in the interregnum between Romney's statements at that time and today, where they're looking to buy it outright, the Israeli censors already got inside TikTok. So in July of this year, TikTok hired at a very high salary and former IDF soldier, by the way, an American, someone who, as an American, said, I can't wait to serve the Israeli army. I love Israel. I want to go serve them, not America. No, I'm not going to join the US military. Don't be ridiculous. IDF, where do I get to kill Palestinians, right? So some person like, and by the way, avowed Zionist, of course, and she's now the hate speech manager. Guess what's going to be considered hate speech? Anything against Israel. Of course! of course. So they will change the algorithm to hide the truth and do Israeli propaganda. And I hope that it's not even an if anymore. This is basically, it looks like a done deal. It's certainly headed in that direction. Larry Ellison and his son, who think that the IDF, I mean, isn't that amazing, guys? Just pause there again. They're giving money to a foreign army. That's their charitable contribution. And a foreign army in the middle of a genocide. Imagine if there were people who were like, you know what? The Germans just don't have enough money in the 1930s and 40s. We need to send them more money. The poor German soldiers, they have not been efficient enough in running the trains on time. We need to get the Germans more money. We would all be sickened and disgusted, right? I would hope so. But here are American citizens, incredibly wealthy ones, going, oh, the IDF, your genocide is not big enough. Here, but take more money, take more money. Just please, please. Just, if we could just get Gaza and the West Bank. You guys disgust me, but what I'm going to enjoy is TikTok, if that happens, TikTok crashing and being totally worthless, and then them losing billions of dollars, also Paramount, CBS, etc. When people go, why would I watch CBS News? They're avowed Israeli propagandists. I'm not interested in Israeli propaganda. I know they think, oh no, it's okay. Shh, we just call everyone an anti-Semite. We just go ahead and we ruin their lives and we fire them, we arrest them. You live under Israeli control completely, but if you say it, then we call you an anti-Semite. And you complain about 20,000 dead Palestinian kids. Who cares about them? Say the racists and the bigots. Oh, but that's okay, we'll just arrest you, deport you, whatever. But if you complain, that's okay, we own all the media. But by the way, don't say we own the media as we go to buy the media, but you're not allowed to say it because only we're allowed to control algorithms, only we're allowed to control the media. And by we, guys, for the billionth time, I don't mean what they say. Israel does not represent all Jewish people. Nobody called my friends, Jewish friends and family, and said, hey, you guys want to buy TikTok to do Israeli propaganda? Hey, would you like to kill more Palestinians? They didn't do that, okay? No, these are pro-Israel zealots, total radicals who say, no, Israel above all. And if they haven't killed enough Palestinians, here's $16.6 million. Here, oh, you know what? Here's billions to buy CBS and TikTok and maybe CNN. And we're gonna get the Israeli censors in there. Okay, all right, thank you for admitting it. We appreciate it, we appreciate it. Anything the Ellisons buy, we'll ignore. And so hopefully they'll have no value at all, and then we'll get to enjoy our lives without Israeli propaganda.
Donald Trump announced today that Benjamin Netanyahu has agreed to his 20-point peace plan in Gaza. But ahead of that announcement, officials within the Trump administration had reportedly had it with Bibi and his ongoing feud with some in the MAGA media sphere, most notably Tucker Carlson. During his meeting with influencers on Friday, for example, Netanyahu had some harsh words for American conservatives who don't fall in line with Israel. Here he is recounting what one Christian influencer joked to him. Take a look.
You said, we talked about the woke right, and you said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant observation. The woke Reich, because these people, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane, they're loonies. But they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay, we have to fight back.
On Saturday, his son Yair Netanyahu also called Tucker Carlson Qatar's bitch and accused him of being obsessed about Israel, Jews, and Netanyahu. According to reports from Axios, White House officials are fed up with the Netanyahu families wading into US politics. One White House official said, "We can't figure out what the guy is up to. Focus on Israel, focus on Gaza. Stop getting involved in US domestic political issues. Stop talking about Tucker. Stop getting influencers here to be your propaganda. It's not helping you. It's not helping Israel, and it damn sure isn't helping us get a peace deal. Cenk, I think some of these comments coming out of the White House are a bit surprising. What do you make of it?
What I make of it is that they're losing their own base, and so they're in a bit of a panic. And I mean, does it get any more panic than saying that Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are the equivalent of the woke left? That there's no difference between us. Come on. The woke right, you're gonna try to convince people that Tucker Carlson is fake right wing and Benjamin Netanyahu is more America first than Tucker Carlson is. Well, good luck with that piece of propaganda. I wish you a lot of luck with it, okay? And so the reason why the White House is in a panic is because Netanyahu is coming in here and thinking that he can boss social media around. He could boss the right wing around, but he doesn't realize they don't work for his buddies at Fox News anymore. Before, when you worked at a giant corporation and you're getting paid 20 million a year, 40 million a year to do Israeli propaganda, well, you got those folks more locked up, right? Now they're online and they're getting their money from the actual subscribers and based on the size of their audience, and they're not beholden anymore to a multi-billion-dollar media corporation that is run usually by very pro-Israel executives or people that have nothing to do with Israel but are scared to death that if they criticize Israel an inch, they'll be fired and their lives will be ruined, and they'll be labeled hateful and shunned by the rest of the establishment, etc. So, and if you think there's no pro-Israel executives, we just showed you Larry Ellison, who runs Oracle, is now going to buy CBS, Paramount, maybe CNN, TikTok, etc. It's an enormous pro-Israel zealot who contributes to the IDF as charity. Like, it's unbelievable. So that's the situation at hand, and that's why he's losing that PR battle to Tucker Carlson. Look, this is happening everywhere. We asked you guys, who do you trust more? And so Bibi or Tucker, okay? And the idea that Americans on the left or the right are going to trust the leader of a foreign government over someone, whether you agree or disagree, clearly cares about America, right? I mean, there's a lot we disagree with Tucker on, but idea that Netanyahu is more pro-America. Oh, he doesn't care about Israel at all. I mean, he's the prime minister of Israel, but he's not concerned about them. No, he's really worried about doing the right thing for Americans. And because Tucker Carlson is objecting to taking $310 million from America and forcing us to give you more and more and more, forcing us to support a genocide, creating billions of enemies for us throughout the world, literally in the Muslim world. Because he objects to that, he's the woke right, and that you should ignore him and trust the Israeli propagandist. Well, that's why the White House is upset, Jordan, because that's a terrible strategy. That's of course not gonna work. And in fact, before I let you respond to that, I want to show you one more thing. So we asked our folks on the website, that was an easy one, basically 95-5 saying, I mean these are left wingers going, no, I trust Tucker Carlson more, but because why? Because we put him up against Netanyahu, right? And then on Twitter, where it's a lot more right wingers, I asked, Netanyahu is now saying Tucker Carlson is helping America's enemies by not bowing down to Israel. So who is more America first? That one was 91-9, Tucker Carlson. So, and one of our guys wrote in here, Impeach for Peace is a member on TYT.com. You could also become a member at TYT.com/join, be part of the show. He wrote in, Bibi's projecting because that's exactly what Israel's doing, using social media and buying politicians to influence opinions on Israel. Absolutely. So when I saw him in the video going, you got to look into anyone objecting about Israel, it's probably the money. Brother, you're telling on yourself, right? Of course, if we say that, then they go, hey, anti-Semite, we're let's talk about money. You guys are getting bad funding from Muslims. You should hate Muslims, hate all the Muslims, right? But you go, hey, it looks like you're getting money from Israeli zealots They go, anti-Semite, cancel him, cancel him, cancel him. No one's allowed to disagree with Israel, right? Yeah, we're all sick of that crap, Jordan.
Yeah, I think what this reflects in part is that the people making these claims, of course, have an incentive to smear their critics, but also the people who believe it and the people who parrot it in the right-wing media who are still aligned to Israel, or even just the broader Western press. Don't talk to regular people. People in Washington, don't talk to the average person. I know you have, I know many people watching this, I have myself, have had many surprising, but I think good conversations over the past, especially year or so, with people who are now sympathetic to the Palestinian cause because it is undeniable what Israel is doing. Many conversations that I never thought I would have with people that I never thought I would have them with, who are now turning on Israel because it's undeniable. And instead of recognizing that and acting on it and responding to the shift in public opinion in the United States, Western leaders, politicians, the media, and Netanyahu, they're, nope, we can't acknowledge it, we can't change course. The problem is TikTok. The problem is the vehicle, one of the vehicles that people are seeing the realities and the horrors on the ground. We can't let them see it. We have to keep them from the truth. And to do that, we're gonna allow right-wing billionaires and Israel-allied billionaires to control this social media app and prevent them from seeing the truth. It is Orwellian. They are trying to pull the wool over people's eyes in furtherance of a genocide. And people really need to sit with that. The consequences, the long-term historical consequences of allowing this to happen and deliberately obfuscating reality for people.
Yep. But don't worry, if you say things that are true, you'll be called an anti-Semite, and your life, they will try to ruin your life. But Israel doesn't control anyone in America. Controlling the media just because they bought half of it? No. You guys are crazy. You should all be fired or arrested on behalf of Israel.